Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
Ho, 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 yins jolly little nutsacks. Welcome back to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast. And since it is Christmas time in Hollis, Queens, we are giving you a special treat. That's right, count them, 2 reviews. So sit back, roast your chestnuts, and enjoy the happiness that is Christmas time in Monster Candy Podcast land, everybody. I am Screaming E from the Memphis Murderman. With me, as always, is Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb, and our man, the main man, Money Mills.
Clap hands.
Back on land. So
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so that's right, kids. We're gonna do a little main review and then a little stocking stuffer for a second review. And the first review is, if you don't already know, obviously looking at the fucking shit, is 1984 Joe Dante film Gremlins. It's a movie we've talked about a bunch of times, but now we're going to actually do a full episode. And then for a little stocking stuffer, we're going to do the 2010 Finnish film from, what was it, Jalmari Helander or Helander,
Man.
if you want to be fucking tough. Helander. Rare exports. But first, it's time for That's right, kids. Christmas horror news. Who's got some horror news to tell the folks out there?
So, no news about Willy's Wonderland 2, but Five Nights at Freddy has announced their first major castings
I
with
saw that.
Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson. Now, I think that this is promising. I don't know if you guys saw the sci-fi comedy show Future Man that Josh Hutcherson's
Oh,
did,
yes.
but
I didn't.
oh my God, dude. Oh, you wouldn't like it. He is so fucked up. But he is hilarious in like that sort of dark comedy stuff. So
Right.
I think this could be good. And then I heard a rumor that Jamie Lee Curtis might be on board too.
Oh my God, is she going to be the final girl?
Probably.
Because every fucking movie is final girl centered.
She's just like shooting her last shot, you know?
I mean,
She's
I get
like,
it.
I'm gonna do
I
it
ain't-
all.
I ain't
But
mad.
I mean, she was just in everything, everywhere, all at once, and that was the jam with hot dog fingers. So I got to give her
I
props.
still haven't seen that. I need
Oh my God, it's so good.
I keep hearing that.
And like 3
Um,
dudes did the special effects for it. I'm like, how? Not a whole
That's
studio,
awesome.
3 dudes.
That's really
Fuck.
cool.
Yeah, that's probably how it
Yeah,
should be.
Five Nights at Freddy's seems to have a very similar storyline to a movie that we've watched before with Nicolas Cage. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. They just casted 2 really funny guys in it, so
That should be cool. I saw that and I was like, I was gonna send it to you, but I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and let her discover it on her own. And then you sent it to me. I was like,
oh yeah, the
Right.
Google algorithms had that come up in my news feed like 7 times in a row that day. I was
Right.
like, okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. When I saw Matthew Lillard, I was like, oh, Oubliette's gonna like this.
See, it's funny though. I kind of have a love-hate thing with him.
How?
Like I
It's all
mostly
love.
hate him.
It's all love.
No, I mostly, and it sucks because I've heard he's such a nice guy, but he's so fucking annoying to me. But again, those are the characters he plays, so I'm hoping he's not just really good at playing characters that are like himself, but we'll see.
He's got such depth in his range of acting. He's gone from Scooby Doo to fucking but he was in an SLC Punk without a paddle.
See, that's the one. SLC Punk, like I can't fucking watch that shit. It's so
Yeah.
bad. I can't.
Oh, it's so good though. He's a tour de force.
And
I mean, he's no
love
Devin
that movie,
Sawa,
like,
but
love that fucking movie.
Are you Jesus, man? You are Jesus, man.
But yes, he's very talented and he can be funny. So I'm curious to see what he'll do.
I'm sure it'll be interesting on some level. So, you got anything, Mills? Or are you still got some stuff, Oob?
It's not really news, but have you guys seen the banter back and forth about that movie? I think it's called Megan, and that some people think that that's not AI and it's
Chucky?
a real actress.
Yeah, Chucky, that's a girl. Cool.
Well, it looks like the fucking AI looks like the girl that was in The Color Out of Space and whatever, right? For the longest time I was like, is that her? Until I actually looked at it, because I would just see it in passing like on my feed. I'm like, oh, she looks weird or whatever.
Well, but now because of all this like hullabaloo about it, I'm starting to question, like, is that a person? And it's not just like CGI?
Yeah, I thought it was like a person in a giant, like a head prosthetic.
Have you seen like Alita?
Like the actors can't say.
The Alita battle, whatever, and Warrior.
Yeah.
Like where they put the big eye effect on her. I think it's just mapped on her face.
Well, I got a little confused because it was also the little girl from the fucking, what was that little series we watched and we did a little thing on, Haunting of Blah Manor. She was in it, and then she also kind of looks like that girl from The Color Out of Space, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Is that her?
Replicants? Yeah, they're all replicants.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's all butthurt about AI lately. They're like, here, I'm gonna put all my pictures into this AI simulator and then complain about how AI is fucking over artists. Like, well, yeah.
Or makes my boobs lopsided.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, you gave them your pictures.
Or something I got for free.
That's 5G.
Yeah, right. People are funny. All right, Mills, go.
Got a little news in true holiday horror fashion. My wife made me watch Falling for Christmas. I don't know if y'all have heard of this horror movie starring Lindsay Lohan.
Oh
yes. Yeah.
And, it is every bit of a train wreck. And I almost clawed my eyes out in terror from how bad it was. So please steer clear.
Well, I heard she reprised the little dance for Mean Girls in this. So, like, what could be bad about it?
Meth is not done kindly on. It's not good for your joints. You know what I'm saying?
It's not good for a lot of things. All right. Well, the only thing I got one thing, and then what chap's screaming his ass little rant. First thing is the Night of the Living Dead sequel is got picked up by MGM. So, and they're planning on putting it out into theaters. I mean, that'll be cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it needs to be done. Maybe. There's already a sequel. It's called Dawn of the Dead. Like, whatever. But as long as it's good, as long as it's better than like the last two that Romero did, The Diary and the other one.
Oh, I remember Diary.
Better than them. Yeah, don't. It'll be fine, but I don't know. Whatever. I mean, as long as it gets fucking the Romero plan, more money, I guess that's cool. Go Pittsburgh or whatever. And my second chap and screaming his ass. I mentioned a little bit of it, dude. The whole final girl thing has jumped the shark like hard as fuck. It popped into my head when I was watching this new Scream trailer.
Fuck, I haven't watched that yet.
And it's like, whatever. But I was thinking, like, I mean, there's a lot of other movies that weren't centered around like final girls, and I know it's a horror trope and all of that, but dude, there's been like a lot over this past year that have been like, and it's so
Yeah.
heavy-handed. That's the part that bugs me. It's like you already know,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, she or they as a group are going to be the final girls, like whatever. You already know that going in, so there's no fucking mystique to it. There's nothing, and you just know it's going to be them. And that bugs me because it didn't used to be like that. Like it was a trope and you kind of knew, but I mean, they just put it out there in the trailers and you're like, oh, okay, well, one of them is going to make it, obviously. And it just fucking bugged me because it's so obnoxiously in front of anything else. I'm like, man, come on, guys, get it together. Give me a little mystery. I don't want to see it all. I don't want to see it all. But because it all goes back to like what Roger Corman was saying, like you can have your messages and all of that, but the main thing is to entertain the audience with a monster movie or a horror movie. And it's just like everything's gotten flipped upside down to where the message is right smack in front of everything else. Oh, that shit makes my dick soft and doesn't get me excited for the movie when I already know basically what it is. So, get it together, Hollywood.
It's like
You feel better now?
It's like
I
the
do.
early 90s, like
Yeah.
when you're in a transitionary period between like a good era and the next good era, like there's a lot of just like whack shit that happens. And I feel like we're in that flux transitionary period with a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully the next awesome thing in our culture comes through pretty quick.
Well, it's just like with social media and just how popular everything is popular.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh shit, okay, this is the new fucking wave we're gonna ride, and everyone is just on it like
Right.
lightning fast. And here's 5 new movies or 5 new like whatever, boom, and it's all pretty much the same thing,
Yeah.
And it's like even in Halloween, like the original one, like, okay, Jamie Lee's the final girl technically, but the doctor saved her. He was actually the hero of the fucking movie, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so it was like the two of them. And I miss having like even in movies like Predator, the focus was on Arnold, obviously. But there's a lot more movies where there was groups of people that make it. I need more variety.
Yeah, because I mean, like when it originated is because that was because the person that you wouldn't expect to survive it that has a turn towards badass,
Right.
Which, I mean, that's cool, but if that's the only story device that we have now, it gets boring,
Right, and you just expect it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should maybe just do a final dude then. That would be super surprising.
Or like just like a final dude or final couple, final group of people.
I'm also a huge fan of the monsters just winning.
Or that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like try as they might, the heroes all fail.
Always good.
Yeah.
Throw us a curveball, guys.
Like the final person like just accidentally survives. Not because they're badass, like a series of unfortunate events they wind up living.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
Kind of like Bullet Train.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Was entertaining.
All right. Anyone got anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, that's been
Horror
horror news. All right, let's get into fucking Gremlins.
I watched this movie with my 4-year-old. That's how scary it is.
Well, so do you know that this movie and the Temple of Doom, so like this movie, Temple of Doom and Ghostbusters came out together. It was supposed to be a Christmas release, but then the studio realized they didn't have any summer competitors for Ghostbusters and Temple of Doom, so they released, and it was Temple of Doom and Gremlins that actually kind of paved the way for the PG-13 rating.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. That was
Because,
going to be one of my little fun facts about the movie.
Should have been PG-4
all right.
because my
Right.
daughter thought it was dope.
What? Like, I ain't even
Yeah.
going to front. I love this movie.
I saw it
Oh,
as
I
a
love
kid.
it too.
I mean, I saw it as a kid, and I told my husband that for like, I don't know, like 35 years, every time I'd walk by a Christmas tree, if I was in the house by myself, I'd kind of just look at it like,
Dude,
wait for something.
seriously.
Is he in there? I'm thinking
Wait.
about it right now. We just put a
Wait,
Christmas tree
the
up earlier
Gremlin
today, and I'm like
or Corey
looking at it.
Feldman?
Gremlin.
Because I mean, you know,
I mean, the latter would be scarier, but no, the Gremlin.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just
That's
love
what
this
we
movie.
need is a good Corey Feldman movie. It's been a while.
Is
Well-
is that what we need?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The
what
world
we need?
needs it. I just need him to reprise like one of his old roles, like still play that kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that he did recently. I think that he put out like Lost Boys 4 last year or something.
He put something
Came
out,
back as
yeah.
a Frog Brother. Yeah. He's still doing it. You're just not watching it. So
It's out there.
Where is it out? On
Yeah.
his personal website?
I mean, I don't.
Is
I
he
would say
Zoom
VHS,
chatting his
but that's
movie
not a thing
releases?
anymore.
Yeah.
It's
No, I mean,
live
I
streaming
think
at his
they're-
concerts.
No, they're definitely on like the free streaming services. You can
Ah.
find them.
I'll have to put some
They're
work into
there.
that.
One of them's on a service that you and I both, we actually all three of us have access to.
Oh,
Our friend added on there, so
that's good. Good.
that's where I think I found out about Lost Boys 12 or
40.
whatever.
It's Lost Boys 40 because they're all over 40 now.
Way over 40.
They are way over 40. They're all over 50 now,
That's true. That's being real generous.
and 50 to 60 now.
Yeah. I love this movie because it's a straight up monster movie, which it was supposed to be one. And
Yeah.
man, we've talked about this before. I would have loved if this would have stayed the original script where it was like a legit horror movie, monster movie.
Yeah, no, because they killed the dog and they decapitated the mom in the original one.
Yes, that would have been awesome. And
But the comedic parts are so good.
it is good.
It would have
There
been
there
weird.
was still some comedy in it though. But here's the thing, and it's one of those ideas that I don't wish they would actually try and, get to fruition, because one of the reasons that makes Gremlins such a good movie is the actors.
For sure.
The casting.
Yeah.
And if they try to do it now, like you wouldn't be able to pull that off. Like the timing, the chemistry, everything would have worked so well. So like, man, if I had a time machine.
I also think if it would have been more violent and more of an R-rated thing, like it wouldn't have been as popular. It would have been released
Oh, totally
Christmas
not.
Yeah,
as
much
like
more
an
niche.
adult horror, and like we probably wouldn't have seen it as kids. I don't know if you guys did, but I did, and it was like an important part of my like starting horror journey because it's
Yeah,
a very
for sure.
like, good intro to horror.
Yeah, it's a great intro to
I mean,
horror,
if I could have like two realities, like if I could just
yeah.
hop the simulation into the fucking parallel reality
Yeah.
where that one was made at the same time, would be awesome, because I'm super happy this one exists. This version of it
Yeah.
exists.
Oh,
But-
totally.
Yeah, it would have just been super rad.
And I read that today that I never knew that Stripe was also supposed to be Gizmo.
Uh-huh.
They were the same character.
Yep.
See, that I would have been bummed out on, because like poor Gizmo, dude. Like, and as I get older, you just like feel for him. You're like, man, he had this nice dark box.
Right?
This guy probably took care of him, fed him well. He gets taken away to some like American kid's house that's like immediately putting him in bright lights and doing everything he's not supposed to be
Dude.
doing.
I was
Like-
watching it,
Testing on them.
like, dissecting it, for this episode. I'm like, holy fuck, like from the jump, as soon as they get him in the house, it's like everything they're not supposed to do,
Yeah.
they do. Like
Instantly.
instantly. Gizmo's probably like, what the fuck, bro.
I had forgotten all of his disgusted faces too. And this time watching it again, I was like, oh yeah, Gizmo's fucking pissed. He's looking at him like, why would you do this?
Oh yeah.
And then when the Gremlins pop up and they're all like bad kids in the 80s movie playing the Star Wars video game, like throwing stuff at him and giving him mean looks, and he's just like, fuck my life. Like, I finally was alone. I didn't have to deal with these fucking guys. Like, why would you do this? Like, I don't know.
It's getting bullied. Yeah.
I was laughing a lot more than I think I ever had at it.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I mean, just like we said before, like the timing and the chemistry, the comedic timing especially, and the cast
The
is
darkness.
like, and the dark, yeah, and there's darkness in it. Like you
Phoebe
could,
Cates, like the shit she says.
well, dude, they wanted to cut that part out.
Well, her long story about Santa and all that, like her
Yeah.
dad. So I always remembered that. So last night I texted E because I was like, dude, she said something that I never remembered, and I think it was just because Santa's story like stuck with you. But it's when Billy says, I always thought everyone was happy during the holidays, no matter what. And she says, most people are, but some aren't. While everybody else opens up presents,
they open up their
other people are
wrists.
opening up their wrists.
Yeah. But like that's also true.
Super
No, it
true.
totally is. I was like,
she's
honestly,
not
totally
just
true.
being morose to be fucking
No,
a
totally.
cunt. Like, I mean, that's actual factual, you know.
Totally. It's just funny how, especially when you're younger, like things like that pass right over. Like I never
Yeah, you just
think I
remember, oh, dad fell down the fucking chimney.
that thing.
Like
Yeah.
that part, but you
Which
don't
is
remember
so fucking funny.
right? Well, yeah, that's a thing I love about this movie is like you still see a lot of the original script come through,
Oh yeah.
but it's just mixed so well with the fucking comedy. In that part, yeah, the studio wanted to fucking cut it, and they were like, dude, that's like her big moment, like the most words she says. Like it's an important
it's
part.
the explaining of her whole character. You know?
Yeah.
Like
Well, not
without
only
that
that, I
part,
think it's
like her character is a really one-dimensional flat character. Like
well, it also like kind of rolls out the carpet to be like, you know, Christmas doesn't always have to be great.
yeah.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
these things are about to come and fuck shit up.
Yeah. I also like how it's a good kind of portrayal of like a slice of life that doesn't really exist anymore. You know, like we don't have traveling salesmen anymore.
Oh, dude, totally.
Like there still are like infomercials, but like nobody as popular as Mr. Popeil or the slap chop Randy guy that bit a dude's tongue off or a whore's tongue off. My bad. Like that part of our culture doesn't really exist anymore, and like their dad is like not only a traveling salesman inventor, but like a shitty one. Like the mom's like, yeah, these things work for a couple weeks, and then it's fucking hell.
Well, that's one of the
and just like the American consumer greed aspect of it too.
Yeah.
The fact the guy's just like, how much for that?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
there's no price, and he's like, oh yeah, okay.
there's
Yeah.
always a price.
It does kind of, you know, thumb its nose.
And yes,
at,
there
like,
is a price.
some of the shitty parts of Americanism for sure. Just like you said,
totally.
like he didn't want to sell it to him, and then when he does get it, like they're immediately the worst owners.
And the best is even remember when he goes down and tells his dad or whatever, he's like, I gave it water I fed it after midnight, and dad's just like, man.
Yeah.
It's
Like we can
well,
make
no,
money off of
there's,
that.
This
yeah,
one of a
that's
kind
right.
thing that I've never
And
seen
then he's
before,
like,
and you
every
fucked
kid
it
in
up.
America would want a mogwai.
Sell them.
Yes,
Fucking
because every child in America wants a pet that has to be in the darkness.
yeah.
That's like,
And you
very
can't feed certain times or
fun.
get wet or whatever.
yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. Also with the PG-13 thing, this was the first movie that they brought back the OG Warner Brothers logo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
movie had a lot of firsts.
Like the way this movie starts off reminds me of like Big Trouble in Little China. Also, like the the city little
Oh, yeah.
Chinatown. Like you're not going to see a movie that pictures Chinatown in America like a foreign destination that's misunderstood. We're I think we're more comfortable with our Asian population.
Like a fucking
Yeah, it's weird. I've been to like a lot of Chinatowns and a lot of different cities, and I can count the number of times I've seen somebody with a gray Fu Manchu down to their knees and long hair and that fucking hat on less than one hand.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but apparently in the 80s they were plentiful.
Well, you know,
It's like you just went to Chinatown. That's how they look.
it was closer to, I don't know, the fucking 20s. You know,
Sure.
another thing I loved about this movie, and it's probably because of the script and how it was actually like a legit monster movie, was just the shots and the angles. Like it was shot like a fucking creepy horror movie.
Monster
Like
movie, yeah.
and also looks awesome in black and white. If you guys follow me on the social medias, I watched it in black and white the other night. But yeah, when the mom's walking up the steps, like right before the whole kitchen scene, and she gets up there and there's just all this fucking mist and they're all, the fucking eggs have hatched or whatever. And like that whole scene is totally fucking some like Hammer shit,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love how they did this is an example of a director who knows what the fuck they're doing with foreshadowing, and they had like the return of the body snatcher pods on TV, briefly before like everything went haywire, but like just barely, but not too heavily handed that where it's like stupid and obvious. And then when you come up and you see them and it's even more grotesque than like the fake television black and white version, it was pretty cool.
Right. Well, that's funny. The body snatcher thing, this movie definitely has some like body snatcher vibes in it,
Totally.
because it's like, okay, they fucking get Gizmo wet and these other Mogwais pop out. They look like them, but they're not.
No, yeah. Totally
And
different vibe.
it's funny that they used body snatchers on the TV. It's because Joe Dante has had Kevin McCarthy in a bunch of other movies, and he couldn't have them in this one. And Body Snatchers was like public domain, so they didn't have. Or no, it was a movie that the studio did, so they didn't have to pay for anything. So they're like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone for no money. It's pretty hilarious, even as an adult. You fucking watch it, and what's his nuts? Dick. Oh, what the fuck's his name? The fucking snowplow guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew that's what you're talking about.
It's Murray Futterman in the movie.
Yeah, Dick Miller. Yeah.
The World War II, the Gremlins. They keep shipping them over. Oh yeah, that's right. WWI.
Well, it's also such a fucking rad thing that they brought that mythology of the Gremlins, into the whole thing, and it totally fits perfectly. And you're like, oh shit, yeah, dude was right.
Yeah, but because I mean, they aren't like the Gremlins of the story, but they're definitely of the same ilk basically.
Yeah.
So it's a good little. But I do hate, and I know this is kind of irrelevant in the scope of watching this movie. I hate that in the sequel that he suddenly wasn't dead.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's so
But if
dumb.
anyone would come back, it would be him.
Oh,
Would be
sure.
him.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of people love the fucking second one
You don't know
a
what
whole
he went
lot.
through.
I mean,
director.
look,
The director of this fucking movie
Yeah.
hates regular Gremlins and loves Gremlins too, and doesn't know why the first one did as well as it did, which I have a soft spot for too, because it's like pop culture and fun, but like that movie is like so fucking campy.
I don't hate to,
It's so
because I watched it as a kid, and as a kid, sure, let's just be ridiculous. Why can't it turn into lightning? Like, number one, it doesn't make any sense. It's like the dumbest shit ever. But cool. Like this, like Gremlins 1 is actually
lightning, all of them.
Yeah, Gremlins 1 is a fairly well thought out movie, except for, it's been pointed out that the feed them after midnight doesn't necessarily make sense. Like what they're on fucking daylight savings time, or like what time zone is midnight? Like don't feed them after dark probably would have been better. And then don't get them wet but they're in the bar drinking beer. I'm like, oh, so that doesn't count. Like, what's
Yeah.
happening? It
Yeah.
doesn't count because it's funny to watch them drink beer.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Like they
I
do
wanna see
drink things,
creatures
so
drink
Yeah.
beer.
You
Well,
know.
no, because they said don't even give them water to drink.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
don't get them wet. They're getting wet.
Then they break that rule. For the sake of a laugh, which really wasn't that funny. Like as a
Yeah,
kid,
it reminds me of like
I
Texas
loved.
Chainsaw Massacre 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. For
And
sure.
this, it's like you
Yeah.
have something
Mm.
that like broke boundaries, like was really unique to what it was at the time, really well done, and then they're like, let's make a second one.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel
All right,
like
where's the disco ball?
I feel like they latched onto that bar scene and were like, oh yeah, that was fun. Like they liked that. Let's do a whole movie that's this bar scene. You know?
like
Yeah.
Joe Dante thought, all the rules and stuff like that. In making the second one, he's like, all right, let's kind of like make fun of the
Yeah.
first one, and which is cool. But yeah, I mean, there's just like way too much money put into it, way too goofy. I mean, it's fine for what it is, but
Yeah, it's a fun movie, but it's in a different class. Like,
Yeah.
Like Gremlins 2 is a movie you hang out with people and like have a drink,
Laugh at because it's stupid.
do the pot or something and laugh at. Yes.
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's not really too much I didn't like about the movie. I mean,
I mean I was annoyed at how stupid the science teacher was.
oh yeah. I mean, that was pretty annoying.
You want this, Baby Ruth? There you go, little guy.
Yeah.
Jesus, motherfucker, you deserve to die. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot that I don't like. It's overshadowed by the stuff that I do like.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's like minor annoyances where you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking ding dong. But,
yeah.
The
bar scene is definitely a pet peeve of mine. As a kid, I fucking loved that scene though. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But as an adult who has a brain, I'm like, it doesn't even fit in the tone and everything of the rest of the movie. And it breaks all the fucking rules. And I mean, it's kind of cool, but they're also just like hanging out with her and like being cool with her as long as she keeps. I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, there's the one, like bluesy gremlin with the glasses in it, dude.
Uh-huh.
Every time I see this, I'm like, that's Tom Waits.
It is.
It's Tom. It's
No, it
100%
is.
Tom Waits.
Yeah.
You got the little
No, they
gravelly
did.
voice.
They did a really good job, like characterizing them in
Yeah.
all the movies.
Yeah.
But it's funny too, like another thing I found out today when I was looking into it that I didn't know, they originally wanted to use spider monkeys instead of puppets. So they actually put a fucking spider monkey in a gremlin suit and it went ballistic, shit all over the office and tore it apart. And they were like, well, puppets.
Should have just filmed that. Perfect.
Could you have imagined them trying to film that movie with
I'd
10
like to
spider
mention how
monkeys?
stupid human beings are because we would try to put a
So
spider
funny.
monkey in a fucking gremlin suit. That's amazing.
To save money on building the puppets, they would think they could control like a dozen spider monkeys dressed like gremlins around real human people
Right.
acting and filming.
But I mean, I kind of understand the
I get
sentiment
it.
because, like, if you think about like the movie Willow, like the fucking the rat dogs that they had, where they just put like a costume on dogs and let them run through, that was like horrifying.
No,
It
was.
looked like real fucking like terrifying monsters that were moving breakneck speed. So
Totally.
maybe
But you could give puppeteers a video of spider monkeys and then just maybe like some PCP and be like, here you go. Let's film this.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the difference too is like it's your main character that has tons of screen time and has to do very specific things, opposed to an animal running across a shot.
Yeah. No, totally. And putting like a spider monkey in a full bodysuit, not just the head, like that's a big ask. That's a big ask for a human. It's a real
Right.
big ask for a monkey. Like,
Spider monkeys in like 6 hours of makeup. They're like,
yeah. It's like,
I
what do
need
I get
another
out of
banana,
this? Like,
Tina.
yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Like, how many bananas is that worth? I don't know. I don't know. Diamond bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't even know what they offered that spider monkey in the office that they just put in the fucking suit. Who knows?
Yeah.
That guy was not happy. And I really wish they filmed it and have like
Right.
released it or will release it sometime because I would like to see
Special
the video
feature.
of the spider monkey dressed like a gremlin, shitting and throwing his shit everywhere, freaking out.
You know, another cool thing too about the movie is the fucking lighting.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Like the at parts it's kind of noir-y, like in the beginning when
Yeah.
he goes into the fucking, the little shop. And I don't know, even when he gets down in there, just all the candles, like the shadows and I mean, it's just fucking, it's tits. It's really good. I mean, Joe Dante is pretty fucking a really
for
good
sure.
director. When you're younger, you don't real like notice stuff like that. And then watching it, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Super
Well, it's like that's like
legit.
how you can tell like the hand of a real master is when like it's easier to not notice what they're doing because they're
Right.
swept up in the story that they're telling. Whether
Mhm.
and it's only like when you watch shit like 2, 3, 4 times, like weirdos like us do,
Mhm.
that you really start picking up like the little special details that make those moments special like that.
Oh, totally. Like even when they're down in the shop and the little kid is walking towards his grandfather, like just the light coming up from underneath him,
Mm.
Just again gives it that kind of spooky
Yeah.
vibe.
I also liked how the mom murked the fuck out of like 3 or 4 gremlins. Like she
Oh, yeah.
stabbed the fuck out of one. She put one in
Oh,
the
yeah.
microwave. Everybody is always wanting to microwave murder something.
Yeah.
Like, it was very satisfying to see a little fucker
Yeah,
pop.
like,
You're like,
you don't
yes.
mess with 80s moms.
Uh-uh.
No.
They're like in that time, their house is like
She had all
that's
that
it.
built
That's
up
like
rage for all of her
everything. Yeah.
appliances breaking all the time
Yeah.
because of her dumbass
Like
husband, and she can't
her
like get new ones.
sole fucking job is to protect that house and her
Yeah.
family. Like you don't
Get out of my kitchen. Oh, yeah.
exactly. You don't
Dude.
Yeah.
And we
She was
can't
ready.
forget, hey, everybody, this is Rockin' Ricky. And that's
Oh,
like
God,
they're fucking
yeah.
screaming, hey, everybody screaming, yeah. It came from. Like, I miss those kind of DJs, like the
Yeah,
wild
you
and
don't
crazy.
hear that very often.
No, they all have that candle, like, well, hey, everybody, this is blah, blah, blah. And but I want some fucking Rockin' Ricky.
Or they talk like this because they're just making sure you're having a really good day, guys. So,
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm just gonna play a song. This one's my favorite.
Dude, it's been such a long time since we've had NPR Oubliette on.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite a while. It's good to have you back.
It's because I hate her. Like a little piece of me dies every time I do it. So I have to like really kind of parse it out and like heal,
Yeah,
regain some strength.
I get it, and I
Oh,
understand that.
And
My last
then
favorite thing.
then I can go back to her. Oh yeah, Mills, go on. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please. We've all been waiting to hear Mills's feelings right now about Gremlins.
I like the small town cop portrayal too, because like even after like tell all this crazy story, and then they go out and about and they see one of these little fucking gremlins fucking shit up.
Yes.
They're still like nah, that's not it.
Just wind the window up and go.
Yeah,
They're like, oh shit.
Right.
We don't
and
have
then
a problem
I feel like I feel like they weren't seen, they were trying to, reach out. And this is where, people don't trust the police, right? So, you see something going on and you're trying to get help, but where is the help? I just want you to think on that for a minute, guys. Just take a moment, take a deep breath. Just where is the help really? Is it there? Because I'm not sure it is. Do they want to help? I don't know.
They definitely did not.
No.
Like, I don't get
No, they
paid enough for
didn't.
this shit. They straight Uvalde school copped that thing. They're like, no, I'm out of here. This is too much.
Well, one of the things Joe Dante brought up on the like the director's commentary is someone was asking, "Oh, what's it like watching the movie now?" You know, however many years later it was, because I think the commentary I was watching was like in 2010 maybe. But he brought up that it's kind of like that Norman Rockwell painting where it's obviously it's in the 80s, but it's still kind of nondescript.
Mm.
Where like watching it now, I'm not like, dude, totally 80s. I mean, there's some parts, but like that never really pops in my head,
No.
especially
Yeah.
with like other slashers and stuff. You're like, holy shit, this is super 80s because they're wearing like
Yeah,
fucking
there was nothing like overtly 80s. Like
'Cause they
Yeah.
were in
in
the
the little Star
wintertime
Wars video
freezing
game they
balls.
played, sure. Well, no, but I mean,
You
like,
gotta layer
even the
up.
dad, he had like the dad wore like the old detective get up that you
like
Yeah.
the
would see in
parka. Yeah.
those like
Like
kinds of
like
movies.
like you said, it kind of gives you that throwback noir feeling too.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, in the beginning, totally.
they definitely suited him right for that, like to give that vibe, which is
Yeah.
cool.
The mom wears like a cardigan and has curly hair. That could be a number of decades.
Yeah.
That perm was cake.
It was. And perms are back, apparently. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm
yeah.
trying to think of any of the music in it that would have really.
Yeah, the score doesn't stand out at all ever to me.
Well, I mean, I like the the baby please come home, like that song. Like I love
Yeah.
that song. It's a
Oh,
good song.
totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing in it that would make you believe it took place totally in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like some are just like
I mean,
overdone,
there's
and even
nothing
if they
in
don't
the
have like an
score that
artistic score, they have like
exactly.
stupid guitars and like synth noises everywhere.
Like Night of the Comet.
Yes, exactly.
I
Like
need to
that.
watch this
You
movie
could
then.
you could blindfold somebody and just be like, just listen to this. Like, when was it made? And I'd be like, boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
no problem,
Yep.
got it.
The one thing until I re-listened to the commentary that kind of always bugged me was how they got Ernie or whatever the fucking dog's name was. I can't remember
From
right now.
Pumpkinhead.
How the
Oh.
Gremlins got him in the lights
Yeah,
hanging
I
out there. I'm
know.
like, what the fuck?
they were still Mogwai at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. But
They weren't even Gremlins yet. They were in that
Yeah.
long box, all
Mhm.
like about to go crazy about food.
Yeah.
there's like a whole bunch of there's not a whole bunch, maybe a couple scenes that they actually cut out where originally in the script, like they turned into little balls and kind of like rolled through the house, and that's how they got him to go outside. The dog's real name was fucking Mushroom or
Oh, yeah, the
something like that.
Oh,
R.I.P.
Mushroom. That is
Mushroom.
right.
Yeah.
You're a good boy.
Yeah, right.
And
So
he was the dog in Pumpkinhead.
yeah. Yep. So they were
Picky
kind of
about
like
his movies.
fucking critters.
All right.
That's how they got through the house. They just turned into little balls and bounced through and got
I mean,
outside.
everybody feels like Critters was a reaction to this movie. Like,
Yeah.
what if we made Gremlins in our movie?
Yeah. Then I mean, I guess that's kind of like the dark version of what Gremlins would be.
So I only saw the VHS cover from Critters, and I stopped ever flushing the toilet without like the lid completely closed and me like holding it down. And my mom came in one time and I was like, I don't know, like 6 or something. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm like, I have one hand on the lid and the other one flushing. And I'm like ready as I'm like about to flush to like push that other hand and put my whole body weight on the toilet.
Oh, dude,
And
that
she
and
thought it
fucking
was because there was like some story about a snake coming up or something.
there was always
Or maybe
urban
that
tales.
was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, no. And I didn't want to talk about it. And then finally I
I do-
told her, I was like, it's those furry things. And she's
Yep.
like, what are you fucking talking about?
That and fucking ghoulies. That
Yeah,
was
Ghoulies
always
was-
one
Yeah.
to the fucking toilet too.
Oh, maybe, wait, did Critters go in the toilet?
Yeah,
Maybe I'm thinking of Ghoulies.
they both did.
I don't know. It probably
Yeah.
was all of them. But if I saw a VHS cover like that as a child, like whatever that cover was, I knew was going on in my house and was
Well, there was
like, ready for it.
1,000% fucking, urban myth. I mean, it does happen,
Yeah.
but
I was
it
about to
was a
say
big
it's not
thing back in the day.
only an urban myth
that
because I
Yeah.
also read news
that didn't
stories
scare
about
me.
it.
Well, no, yeah, it does happen, but that wasn't why I was scared. And my mom
Right.
just swore that was it and like told my dad, like, and I'm like, I'm not fucking scared. Like thinking like I'm not scared of a snake coming out of the toilet. I'm scared of a furry fucking monster coming up and like biting my ass, dude. Come on. No.
Barney was the dog's name. But I like the foreshadowing that they were doing with the sword on the wall. That every time they fucking came in, it fell down, and
Yep.
and it's crazy because
Oh,
you don't think about it until that moment
Yeah.
with the mom in the tree comes in, because it happens what, 2 times before that,
Yeah.
2 or 3 times before that. So like you're just like, oh God, that would be fucking annoying, right? And then when all that tree shit happens and the gremlins attacking the mom and Billy comes in, you're like, oh, oh, oh shit, get the fucking sword, get it. And he fucking does. Lops his head
But-
off into the fire.
That's the perfect example of like when a director knows how to properly foreshadow compared to
Mhm.
like when they don't. Like what was that clown shit that we did the other time? Like the foreshadowing on that dagger was annoying.
Right.
Like, oh my God, can you not, like, this is frustrating. Like
You mean the
foreshadowing.
fact it was just the only thing seen on her dresser with like a light under it?
Oh,
She
don't touch it. It's so sharp. And like, oh my God, really? Like, like that's not good foreshadowing.
No.
But foreshadowing when done properly, and Gremlins has some great foreshadowing at different points. Yeah, man. Like you could tell that this was done by a group that knew what the fuck they were doing.
Oh, definitely. And they also, I like how Joe Dante would put, like when they go to the movie theaters, there's a fucking movie poster hanging up for The Howling.
Oh, I missed that. That's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope.
Yeah. I always like shit like that too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this has seen this movie a zillion fucking times. So we're not telling you
And if
anything.
not, go watch it.
Dude, seriously, like you should really go watch this.
You're a
And
weirdo.
I don't know. I mean, does anyone else have anything to say about this movie really?
No, I think it was cast really well. I think everybody did a good job. I think it wasn't overly gratuitous or over the top and was just like a nice sweet spot.
I agree.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's rate the movie Gremlins, the classic, the Christmas classic Gremlins. What do you got, Mills?
Probably like a solid 4. Like I would rewatch this every year with my kids if they wanted to,
I rewatch this shit like
Yeah.
just every year, period.
my 4-year-old also probably would give it a 4. She's already into like she makes me look up scary Paw Patrol videos, which there's not a lot, and because there's like a niche of like creators making scary Paw Patrol content. It's like really,
thank
really
you.
weird. But yeah, she
And they're
she
probably
likes all that shit.
grooming the children for bad things. I
No,
watch those first.
I watch them with her. I'm like, you like this? It's like putting these dogs in wood chippers, but they're Canadian dogs, so I'm okay with it. No, but I put on I'm like, let's watch a scary movie. She's like, yeah. It's like, Daddy, are those monsters? I was like, yeah, they're monsters. She's like, yeah. So yeah, as long as she's into it, I'll give it a 5 for her. But yeah, 4 for real though.
I could dig it. Oubliette?
I think this might be my first one, but I give Gremlins a 5.
Nice.
There you go.
I can't find much wrong with it. I mean, I can nitpick. There's things that annoy me, but like it stood the test of time. They did a really good job. The practical effects were great. They did just enough with what they had without it being dumb or out of their reach.
Right.
The casting was spot on. When you read about the other people who auditioned, like Judd Nelson and Emilio Estevez for the main part, you're like, thank God they made the right choice.
Yeah. I agree.
And
And it's like,
there's like an innocence about the cast.
Also, Judge Reinhold, fuck that guy.
I fucking
Every
hate
movie,
him.
every
and he-
movie that he's in,
Dude.
even Beverly Hills Cop, I still don't like him as an actor. Just saying.
So this is so funny. We're watching it last night, and I was like,
My
"Oh,
apartment
this
has
fucking guy!
cable.
I
Cable.
forgot he was in it." And my husband just goes, "Oh, Judge Reinhold," and I was like, "How the fuck do you remember his name?" And he's
I mean,
like,
how can you not remember
"Stuff."
that
And
name?
I'm like,
Right.
and because I've blocked it out for years, and I like paused the movie and was like, "Tell me you like him." And he was like, I'm just playing a match 3 game on my phone, kind of watching Gremlins. Like, where is this going? And I was like, I mean, are you a fan? He was like, no, he's just in movies. I was like, okay, great. Like, it was almost going to be a thing. It was going to be a thing.
I mean, first of all, what a fucking name, Judge Reinhold.
Oh God,
Um,
what a douche.
But like you were saying, like everyone in the cast is a believable teenager, young adult, however old they're supposed to be. Like you believe their characters. Even Judge Reinhold, like you believe him in every movie he's in, whether he's like a fucking nerd or
He's
like a smarmy prick.
Come over to my house. Cable? You're gonna turn down cable?
Yeah.
I feel like
that's what
Judge
it felt like
Reinhold-
the 80s. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, that's
Yeah.
a thing.
I feel like Judge Reinhold and Jeff Goldblum made the same fucking deal with the devil, and one of them got the better end of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they both have that weird. They both have something wrong with them. One of them is passable.
There's
It's
definitely-
not Judge.
They both have that like awkward thing going on with them.
and that they like are goofy but try to be super suave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
non-conventionally handsome.
Yeah. Man, it has worked out for fucking Jeff Goldblum.
Man, I'm just trying to
I
get
have
some
to
of that
say, like,
non-conventionally
he
handsome
has
charm,
aged
man.
like some fine wine.
Yeah.
I've
Chicks
never
are all
thought he was
about
an attractive man, but like
Daddy Goldblum.
recently he started looking like slightly attractive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he grew into his
Something.
ears, unlike most people, right? Because your ears and your nose are the only body parts that keep growing. His ears were already comically large, and then he got old, and as an old man, now they're the right size. That's why he's now handsome.
Yeah.
It's not Daddy Goldblum. Okay. There's only Daddy
I
Hawk.
don't, dude, not according to the fucking internet.
He looks
Whatever.
like he would smell really nice.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Like, I think that he is more attractive
I
now
feel
than he's
like-
ever been. And
I
that
feel like
would
that's
to
one of the
smell
most
him.
solid confidence that a woman could give a man. It looks like he would smell really nice.
No, like not like cologne, but like I feel like he has some good pheromones.
Oh, natural musk. That's a
No,
really
yeah,
girl
like-
thing to
like-
say.
Uh-huh.
He looks like someone that when maybe he gets a little bit sweaty, maybe has like a good stink to him.
Dude.
I am not a pro non-deodorant person at all, but I am a pro not bathing yourself in so much garbage. that
Right,
you
right.
don't smell
Yeah,
like
for
a
sure. I
human.
agree with that.
Well,
I'm talking about like when you're first starting to work out or like on a hot
No,
day and it's
I
not
get it.
necessarily like full BO, but it's just like that like earthy
Yeah.
like, niceness. There are levels that are very
Dude,
bad and very good. And some people it does smell good.
But dude, like some chicks love stinky ass dudes, like dudes
Yes.
that smell like
Yeah.
fucking straight.
Oh yeah.
If you stuck like a hoagie in your asshole, and they're just like, oh, I just love that natural musk. And I'm like, that's fucking
Yeah,
disgusting.
like Matthew McConaughey.
Ah,
I will say though, there like through my life, there has been some like body odor that I've been like, damn. But I think that's like when you find your people.
I guess.
I've never found
Your
my people.
person.
Yeah. Whether it's dudes or like a chick, like, dude, when you come home from the gym or like whatever and you fucking stink, like you still stink. I've never been like, oh, baby, you smell
Ooh.
good. Get over here. I'm like, you fucking stink. Go get a shower because you smell like a fucking, you stuck onions under your armpits. Like, get out of here. I don't know.
I was dancing in a club in Singapore
me.
with a really cute girl. And
In
I got a
quotation
whiff.
marks, because you're in Singapore.
Oh no, it was well, I didn't find out. But anyways, like it was either a really cute girl or a small male child. Don't know. Anyways, dancing, and I kept getting this whiff of like musk, and I was like, "Oh my god, no!" Like, did I forget my deodorant? So like,
Right?
I'm doing like dance moves to where I can get my arms up and go, sniff check. I'm like, "Damn,
Uh-huh.
I'm all right. Okay, okay. Crisis averted. What the hell is going on here?" She put her arms up, and I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm good,
Dude,
I can
the
leave."
worst thing I had to deal with from owning a fucking women's clothing shop, vintage clothing shop, was, I'm out here in the fucking Bay Area. So people love to be natural, right? So you got these dresses that are already fucking 60 years old, 70 years
Yeah.
old. You let people fucking try them on. Dude, they would ruin these fucking dresses because they would just no deodorant, fucking just stinky as fuck. Put it on for literally 15 seconds. Oh, it doesn't fit. Take it right off. Dude, I could not get that fucking stench out of these dresses. And I'm like,
Just
what?
Pre-Febreze.
Dude, nothing would work. Like you had to get them professionally
Febreze.
dry cleaned.
Wow.
Yeah. We tried. We like, we'll fucking spray some Febreze on the armpits and let them fucking hang out
No.
for a couple of days. Nope. Fucking onions. Wash them. Nope. Onions. I'm like, dude, you're making me go to fucking pay $100 to get this fucking dress dry cleaned.
That's wild.
Dude, seriously. So yeah, pheromones. They're a thing. All right. So yeah,
But yeah,
I
Judge
love
Reinhardt, Jeff Goldblum, People Smells,
I guess.
Gremlins.
Fucking
How do you think a
Gremlins.
gremlin smells?
So yeah,
Like patchouli, obviously.
dude, even worse. Like I hate
No
that
way,
fucking
like Nog Champa or
A
like
dog
Ugh.
chop.
so
Dragon's
gross.
Blood.
The blues singer definitely the bluesy Tom Waits one smell like nom chomping in fucking pot.
Like
I'd like to think
Dragon's
each
Blood or
individual personality came with its own pheromones.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna give this fucking movie is a 4.5 cute zombie gremlin-y gizmo-y candy corns. I mean, there's little stuff you can nitpick about it, of course, but I love how it was shot, love the lighting, love the acting, love the cast, how they picked the cast, everything about it, And it's probably one of my favorite Christmas movies. And it's just a good movie in general, but yeah, I think Joe Dante did a real good fucking job with this and letting some of that darkness show through from the original script.
Right.
All the
I love
fucking
how I'm the lowest score. That's hilarious.
I know.
I mean,
So we got an average of 4.5. That's
Yeah,
solid,
pretty
man.
good.
We
That's
never
pretty good.
we don't get that high very often.
this one could really go anywhere between 4 and 5. I mean,
Correct.
yeah, there's movies that I would watch over this, but this is kind of like, like The Thing. Like there's nothing really wrong with it.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
So
a matter of fact, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
It's a good one.
you should.
I even like the prequel.
I've not watched the prequel.
You
I
should.
thought it was going to be a piece of shit, and I saw it in the
It's pretty
theater,
good.
and I'm glad I saw it in the theater because it was
Nice.
a great theater movie.
Yeah, they did a
Nice.
good job on it and a good lead into
Yeah.
like, it being the
Mm.
prequel to The Thing. So yeah, everyone, if you haven't fucking gone and see this movie or own it or whatever, you fucking should because it's
Well,
awesome.
welcome to Earth.
And even if you're 4 years old,
yeah,
it's fine.
Well, dude, that's another thing about this movie because, I mean, whether you're an adult or you're a fucking child, in 2022, it's still an
Oh, yeah.
enjoyable fucking movie,
Oh yeah,
regardless. And if you don't enjoy this movie, well, you're fucking weird.
yeah.
Oh, totally. I mean, both of my dogs, despite them looking completely different, have giant ears, and I seriously think that I have Gizmo to thank for that because I love that little fucker and want a Mogwai so bad.
Dude, right?
And actually, my Chihuahua Minpin should thank his lucky stars because it's probably the only reason I have him is because fucking gremlins. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known what I was getting into. But I was prepared.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, yeah, I think it's time now to give the little stocking stuffer. Talk a little bit about, give a little short review on the fucking Finnish movie from 2010,
The
Rare-
Finsploitation film.
Rare Exports. Oh man. It's a fun movie. I'll give it that. Like it's fun. Well, let me read the storyline. And I like how IMDb usually they have where the where the storyline came from, but they just have anonymous.
It adds to the lore.
All
It's
right.
fine.
So on Christmas Eve in Finland, Santa Claus is unearthed in an archaeological dig. Soon after, children start disappearing, leading a boy and his father to capture Santa, and with the help of fellow hunters, they look to sell they look to sell him back to the corporation that sponsored the dig. And then there's Santa's elves, who are determined to free their leader. That sounds way cooler than the movie was.
Yeah. It's also not chronologically how I would describe this movie. Like if I were to describe this movie, like that would not be anywhere in the wheelhouse of what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, this storyline, I mean, it's kind of right, but it sounds way more dark and cool as opposed to this movie was. I mean, it had some dark parts in it, but it was pretty lighthearted and like funny and weird. Because,
but because it's got the finish.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people, or what the fuck the deal is with putting kids in their underwear in like movies.
But the thing is, like, it's
I will
foreign
say in the
films.
foreign movies, that's not abnormal at all.
Yeah,
Like
it's
parents walk
foreign
around
culture
in their underwear or naked. Like it's
100%
much like
what
the
it
US
is.
was in the 70s.
Well,
Then all of a sudden everyone got in trouble for raping people and stuff, and now parents are a little more conservative with what they wear around their kids.
Well,
they
not the
make
kid,
their kids dressed so they don't look like rapists either.
Yeah, well, the kids, I'm like, there's
It's
the
a
one
very
part.
American thing.
There's the one part where he's like, he has his.
It is tidy whities.
Yeah, the main kid, he has like all this shit on, and he just no pants. I'm like.
Wait, but also in what looks like the fucking coldest day on earth.
Dude, seriously, just wander. Well, I guess maybe they're acclimated.
Like I'm a northerner in the States. I'm from Michigan originally, and I do some dumb shit in wintertime that because I live in Texas, I'm married to a Texan. My children are Texans, even though they like to say they have Michigan blood. No, they don't. They get frigid. So like when they're freezing, like I'll walk outside in shorts and a t-shirt, but like that day looked so damn cold, and that kid was out in his fucking underwear. I was like, God damn, that's like like the cold.
Maybe he's into Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah, well,
it has to be. They all are.
The same thing goes on in the original.
Good for your blood.
Let the Right One In.
Yes, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Which, well, I mean, we have to do that movie because that
you haven't done it.
No, there's so much to fucking.
We haven't done either version.
Dude, there's so much to talk about in that movie. But
that would be a good remake Rumble.
Yeah, we should do that
for sure.
But yeah,
make sure to do that when I'm in town though.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that movie.
Okay.
We could do that. We'll do that one next.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was weird. I'm like, what? Put some fucking pants on. Like, there's no reason he doesn't need to not have pants on. Fucking weirdos.
So for me, the thing about this movie is it was all suspense. Like there was not a lot of actual horror involved in it,
right?
Which I'm not using that as like I'm not being like it's not a negative, right?
Right.
If you do it well,
right.
But it's not like a gore fest or anything like that. That's not the type of movie that you're going to get from this because there are some cool like Christmas gore movies. That's not one. This is like trying to be its own kind of thing and give a new, different kind of mythology to the world, which that was cool. But kind of like we were talking about in Gremlins, the use of foreshadowing.
It was very much like Krampus.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They were kind of like spinning
or
it on
Grumpus
its head.
or like Black John.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
foreshadowing was bad.
Yeah.
Like you knew exactly what was about to happen just about at all times. You know, it wasn't like a slick use of foreshadowing.
I mean, like the things I liked about it is it was fun and there were some aspects of it that were really cool. Like I like the whole mythology part. Oh, Santa's evil and he's coming fucking with the kids and like whatever. Like, that's cool.
that's a solid idea. You know, I mean, like the and also it being a kid's story, you know, I liked how they spun it because American audiences, like, as the kids are talking about this Santa thing, and he's like, "Oh, you still believe in that?"
Mhm.
But like, you're thinking like of the American version of Santa. This kid's believing like he's the freaking devil about to come out, and like
Right.
when that comes, when that little reveal comes, like you're like, "Oh, well, that was cool. That was definitely a nice little spin. That was fun."
Yeah, it was very Raiders of the Lost Ark type of feel.
Mm.
You know,
I really
yeah.
like the chemistry between the actors.
Mhm.
Of course, like the father son or actual father son. So I mean that works, but the rest of the main ensemble worked really well together. Also, like they had good chemistry. I thought that was fun. Um,
One of the
the
things,
supporting characters, you know, like the drill crew.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
but
That
So I had no
that's not a big
idea
deal.
this was the I had no idea this was the third film.
So it started off as a short film.
oh,
I watched the first one today, and it's
Okay.
interesting because it makes so much sense in terms of how this movie kind of like went off the rails
Came
at
to
the
be.
conclusion. You
right,
know, so like after Santa Claus is blown the fuck up, and they've corralled all these elves, and then they just start going into like training them to be
Spoiler
Santa Claus and exporting them. So it's Rare Export started off as a short, kind of like a proof of concept for this director to get his work out there and try and get funding for a main movie. And it's a straight comedy.
right.
It follows like three hunters, you know, like a tracker, a marker, and a sniper. They go out there and it's narrated like it's this great woodsy hunt thing, shot really well. And then after he shoots the animal that's out there, it turns out it's a Father Christmas, and then they're like training them to be like this is a business in Finland
Gotcha.
to wrangle them up, sedate them, and then train them to be Santa Clauses that they then ship off to the world. And you know, the short was really fun because it had like the Father Christmases like biting dummies, like sitting on their laps and they're like attacking the dummies and slapping the shit out of them. And it was all comedy, which which kind of made sense. Like you could see like that they were taking a different turn for the majority of it, and I like the tone throughout most of the movie, but at the end it like kind of like turned the corner with the elves. Like, what are they doing with these elves? It didn't really make sense. They were boxing them up. They don't really get into it like that. um
Yeah, I mean, in the end, they kind of like
it just
they
took a
show
left turn,
where they're like fucking
training
training
them
them and
to
stuff like
yeah
yeah,
send them off. It took a left turn and didn't really make sense, but the reason why they did that is because all the funding for this came from the shorts. They did two shorts
right.
and got enough buzz that they were able to get funding for a full length. I'm like, bro, you could have just dropped that
Yeah,
because it didn't. That's the one thing of the story that I was like, that I really give it like kind of big down marks for, is because like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, you're right. After they blow, after the explosion,
Yeah.
that's when it gets a little weird.
No, it just turns left. You're like, what's going on now? What? You know, this doesn't make sense. Nothing's working anymore.
And you're
Um,
right, dude. It was like it's like a slow movie.
yeah, it's a slow burn. You know, there's not a lot of gore or action or anything. It's you know, kind of like just built on the suspense of something's gonna happen.
Which it totally could have been, because like aside from like the weird fucking 50 naked old saggy balls.
I'm a fan of any time that you have like a whole bunch of old white dick parading around in sub-zero temperatures,
Yeah.
and you're gonna put that on my screen because it does so much for my confidence. So, I'm like, maybe I will send my wife a dick pic today.
And I'm like, man, this is a lot of old saggy balls I'm watching right now, and I don't know why.
It's the rare exports. It's
Yeah.
fucking-
And it's weird because this movie has an R rating, and I'm like, maybe for the
It's
nudity.
gotta be just for the dicks. That's the
Yeah.
only reason.
Nudity.
Yeah, because I
It's
mean,
gotta be.
there's some blood and like
I mean,
some gore, but
occasionally there's some implied violence ratings with R, but it has to be like pretty extreme.
yeah,
Yeah, but all of
It's
it's
got to be just
implied.
nudity.
It's got to
Yeah.
be the dicks. There's just so
Has
many
to be.
dicks.
So many old dicks. Old dicks too. Or however they did it. Fucking CGI one guy in his dick and balls and made him fucking 100 of them, but there was a lot.
Bro, it was so many. It was
Spoiler
amazing.
alert. If you have an
Yeah,
aversion
if you
to
have a
fucking
dick aversion,
yeah, not even just a dick aversion, like an old sagging, like unhappy
Yeah.
looking dick.
In the cold of winter.
Yeah.
Like at this point, all you're seeing is foreskin. There's
Yeah, like while this movie was fun, like man, I wish they would have went one way or the other with it. Like make
Yeah.
it dark and make it like a straight horror movie, or make it like a comedy. Because there's
Yeah.
some parts that are like, well, this is fucking dumb. Like
Mhm.
when they're getting ready to, blow the shit up, dude goes out with fucking gingerbread cookies.
Let's
And he
talk
just-
about these cookies.
Yeah.
So,
I mean-
not to take a sidebar, but my last name is Mills. I grew up so I'm half black, half white. Raised by my white half primarily, and it was a family tradition at Christmas time because we're mostly Italian, and then we got some English and German on my white side. This is what I told. Every Christmas they make Liebkuchen, so that's what they call these cookies. They're Liebkuchen. It's like a gingerbread cookie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have been
Yeah.
tortured my whole life eating Liebkuchen cookies because they fucking suck. Okay, they suck.
I
It's a
like
family
'em.
tradition. Every year they make them. They've got the fucking candied fruits in them. They're fucking garbage. Horrible.
Oh, I don't like the ones with candy.
Correct. So my family recipe has the little candy fruits. Fucking garbage.
Yeah.
And my grandmother died, and one of my aunts had sent like a care
Gingerbread.
package. A care
I mean, I'll eat some
package.
gingerbread.
Like I love gingerbread,
Mhm.
but my family's Liebkuchen. Fuck
Right.
that. Okay. So she sends this care package, the Christmas after my grandma dies, and it's got like a fancy painted recipe of my grandma's Liebkuchen cookies, and then a box of Liebkuchen. And my children have never had them because they're fucking horrible. I was trying to break this tradition. I was like, all right, little kids, gather around. This is the Mills family tradition. We're gonna eat these cookies that my aunt sent, and we're not gonna like them. And they're like, "Oh, I'm a real Mills. Oh, I'm gonna like them." I'm like, "Okay, well, look, I'm a real Mills. I fucking hate them. We're gonna eat one. We're not gonna like it.
Like, just
They
wait.
take a
Just
bite.
wait.
They take a bite. I'm like, "You like it?" And you could just see it on their face. They're like, "Mm-hmm." I'm like, "You don't, do you?" "Mm-mm." Yeah, you can
Mm.
spit it out. So
Yeah.
the whole point of this is shortly after that, my wife's mother for Christmas, the next Christmas, got us an ancestry DNA test, and my shit comes back. You know how German I am? 0 fucking percent. 0. So I called my mom. I'm like, I called my aunt. I called my mom. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, there is no German in our ancestry. You've been torturing me my whole fucking life with these fucking cookies. So yeah, I was triggered when they're fucking it's the Liebkuchen. I'm like, fuck this,
Right? Well, dude, they're like,
Yeah,
okay.
but those
Well-
DNA tests are weird. Have you
Yeah.
read about them?
No,
What, that
Like
that
if you're
they
a woman, you may not, you don't take your dad's, like, it's
I'm not a
fucked up.
woman
You
though,
only
so
take
it's cool.
certain- I know, but like, so
You can be
I
if you
have
want,
what my
Mills.
mom's is.
you put your mind to
I
it.
have what my mom's is and what my dad's is, and I
Yeah.
only have certain markers.
That's interesting.
Like my mom's side is American Indian. Like her father's a registered tribe member, like
Yeah,
Super Creek Indian. I show 0 American Indian DNA markers, which also could be because none of them send their samples because they hate
Right? The government
don't
and
want to do
lizard
that.
people. Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me, but like my dad also has like really high markers for this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Afghani tribe, which if you look at pictures of them, look exactly like me as a kid and my grandmother. I showed no marker, like nothing came up.
They're just,
Okay.
they're
What
just
about your
collecting
milkman?
DNA. Yeah.
Huh?
What about your family's milkman?
Oh no, if you look at me and my dad, like there's
I'm
no
just joking.
fucking question. No. I would have thought that. I totally would have fucking thought that too when I saw it. Except for I have a lot of his like Nordic and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and you get the
Irish,
familial
English
familial
stuff.
match too, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
but no, it's weird that you don't actually like show it all.
Yeah,
It's a little sad.
they're fucking bullshit.
Well, So what? So when the guy who gets his ear bit off goes out and is distracting all the fucking elves with these cookies, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wait, so it's that easy? You just toss some food at these old fucks, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drop our pickaxes and just grub on this shit.
Yes.
Right, right.
Cookies would make me do that too.
I mean, I love cookies. I get it.
I'm
but-
literally eating a fucking cookie.
I know.
Mills was talking about cookies.
And I finished all my cookies last night. So now I'm like,
My
fuck.
aunt sent me some Swiss bakery cookies from Michigan, and they're so good. My wife was like, "Oh, so you just didn't like these ones? These are why you ate all the good ones?" I was like, "No, those are the best ones. Those are gingerbread cookies covered in powdered sugar." And she's like,
Ooh.
"Those aren't the
Yeah.
best ones." I was like, "Eat one, trust me." She ate it. She's like, "Oh my god, you just changed my life." She'd never had gingerbread. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, these are like gingeroos. Dutch
Oh, there you go.
gingeroos.
Oh, sandwich cookies.
Oh,
Mm.
shit.
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
Hey,
They're like the
we're
new
open for
gingeroos, but like
sponsors.
the old school ones. Yes. Kolpenrath. If you'd like to sponsor us, I would love to continue partaking in the Spetco Duets Mendelcream
Delicious.
Yeah,
Delicious.
sounds good. Dude,
and an extra gym membership.
there you go.
Yeah. It's like when they were throwing those cookies out, you're right, because like the tone, if they would have stuck with one tone, would have been way better. And
Yeah.
I actually liked the creepy, suspenseful tone. And anytime that they would get into the campy stuff, it would really just throw me off that scent because I wanted to like this movie. It seems like so dismal and depressing because of the
Mhm.
setting that it's in. It's in the bleak of winter. It looks fucking cold. Like it looks so cold that you can almost feel it through the screen.
Yeah.
You know, and they live so sparsely and they're struggling, and then you know their haul of fucking
Reindeer.
money for the next year
Yeah.
for reindeer. That's like there's all this depressing shit happening, and then they're gonna do some glib like, oh, the Santa Claus shit, just some really stupid shit that sprinkles in there, and you're like, oh, come on, guys, like pick one way,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was
But if you watch that little short that they did first, like you will understand why, because like that
Right.
shit was all comedy, tongue in cheek, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that's not like the movie like you kind of set out to make, and that's not the movie that you really presented for most of it.
right.
you know.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And there was the other thing that I did not like about it is the weird hybrid English and then not English and then there's subtitles, but they're not subtitling the English. And like, I wasn't paying attention, because in the opening scenes, it's the fucking, the corporation guys. And I'm like, oh, well, I thought this was like a foreign film. And it was on Shudder, and on Shudder said English.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So it starts off in English, and I'm like, okay. And then it's not in English. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait,
Okay.
what? And then on some scenes, okay. And then they start speaking English, though.
But
And I'm like, what the
even
fuck is going
even
on?
the English speakers are heavily accented English
Yeah.
speakers. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
I'm like, oh,
Why?
just pick
it's a
one.
very
Like,
interesting choice to do.
like if I'm gonna have to read, let me read the whole movie. Don't not let me read and then be like, oh, now you have to read for the rest of the movie. But then not in this scene, because now we're gonna switch back, and I'm like, oh my god! And then you're having the Finnish guys speak English. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
what, dude? It almost made my head explode. I'm like, what the fuck? Pick one.
I mean, this movie is 12 years old, but in recent years, they've done that a lot with
Yeah,
movies.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna.
And
I didn't
like,
know how old this
Somewhere
movie was.
I'm like, is this fucked up? Like,
well,
do I not have a setting on?
like
Oh,
in
fuck,
like, am
there's
I
a
watching
series on
a bad
Netflix that I'm
copy?
trying to watch right now that likes to fuck around with languages, and I'm like, "Ah."
Well, like Speak No Evil or Hear whatever shitty movie that was on fucking
Oh yeah,
Shudder.
that
They
one
did
had
that.
some moments.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, they're speaking English, but they're heavily accented, but it's English, and then they go into not English, and then you're like, oh my God.
But that doesn't bother me as much as some of the movies that have come out now, even American movies that when they're speaking another language, there's no subtitles anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to put
I was
English
watching
subtitles for the entirety of the movie.
Oh,
Right.
I fucking hate that. I hate that. I was watching a movie. I can't remember what it was, but I commented to my wife because like it's a subtitled movie, and then just randomly they decided that I didn't need subtitles for this side conversation. I was like, "Hey, well, hold up, this is bullshit."
Yeah, like what the fuck are these people saying?
Yeah, even if it's just like
I just
background
watched Bullet
conversation.
Train. When I just watched Bullet Train last night, none of the Russian and none of the Japanese were subtitled.
Mm.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And if I put on English subtitles, they just went away during that time.
Japanese
But I mean,
speaking.
luckily there was a lot of visuals and enough that I could pick up that I was like, okay.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, I can say that I can understand, like, there are times where that's appropriate, like if you're trying to show like a fish out of water and like the confusion of like being
Latin
out of
languages?
your depth.
Well, no, Latin languages I'm cool with, but when it's Japanese or
Yeah.
like some like Russian dialect, I don't even know if it was Russian or if it was Bulgarian or Chechnyan or whatever. Like every dialect there is different. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Some
that
are
shit's
completely
annoying.
different languages. Like, why would you just casually know that?
Well, I think the point is that you're not going to know it.
They don't care if you do or not.
Yeah, dicks.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we should probably rate this. There's not too much more to say about it.
That's the whole movie. It's a out there concept that has some merit to it, you know, but it's also so fucking short. I swear to God, it's 1 hour long.
I mean, did you guys even really talk about what it was about?
Probably not.
I mean, we gave the fucking
synopsis,
you know.
That's about it. I mean,
that the synopsis
really
is way better sounding than the actual movie.
Well, okay, so here's more to say about it. It is cool because it's driven by the child actor, right? The children are the main characters in this, and it's kind of like, you know, if there's a final, it's the kid, you know. Although there is no final, like nobody hardly gets murdered. I don't think anybody gets murdered. Because I thought the construction workers got murdered and then they showed back up later. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, the corporation guys did.
No, I think they showed back up.
No. Like the fucking.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the main guy who.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not a lot of blood and guts, not a lot of murder. That's okay. It was driven by the kids. There was a lot of creepy stuff, you know, up until they get
Disney ending.
Yeah, to the big reveals and all that. But I think they could have got more gangster with it. It's fun. I mean, it's a darker interpretation of the Santa Claus story, and it's told through a kid protagonist's eyes. And I think the kids did a fantastic job. The main cast of characters, in fact, I thought were pretty fucking solid. Writing is iffy because there was a quirky ass concept.
Well, yeah, I like that it was kind of like that, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark with the Goonies type of thing.
No,
like, you know, it's fun and everything.
But Mills just said no.
Yeah. He's like, like this movie sucks. Yeah, I just hate when you watch a movie and you're like, man, there was so much left on the table.
That's what it is, because the thing is, like, there is so much potential in what this movie does well, that the fact that it doesn't ever like make good on the promises of like the cool shit that it does is a big bummer.
Right.
Like it's a palpable bummer because there's one point where like I was like really drawn and I'm like because it's leading you along like fucking gingerbread cookies to elves and you can't resist it. You got to drop your pickaxe and go along for the ride. And I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, and then you're doing it in a weird way, and the kids are telling you this new Santa Claus lore and how creepy and bad he is, and you're like, oh, these motherfuckers are gonna keep drilling for this motherfucker. We're about to see Santa Claus come out and wreck shop,
Right.
and then shit starts to happen around, and you're like, oh fuck, it's about to go down. Shit's about to go down. Booyah! And
You're just like,
nothing ever goes.
really?
And then they forget, like they try to tell a different story, and that's what sucks. You know, if they would have kept along that trajectory and landed it, it would have been so fucking solid. You know.
yeah, yeah, it would have been. Yeah, fuck, man. I really wish this movie would have stayed dark.
Yeah,
I mean, you can still have like little bits of comedy in there, but
sure.
it just split the difference too much for me.
Yeah. Like
You
you
know?
okay, so like you have to if you look it up, it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Rare Exports Inc.
Okay.
And it's like 8 minutes. 8 minutes. It will make this movie will make so much more sense if you watch that little 8-minute trailer,
Right.
and you'll be like, oh, what they should have done is this, and this. It's like they tried to tie the movie that they started making and this together, and they never figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck,
like you
that
want to have
sucks.
some campy shit, you know. It seems like a good try, but a missed opportunity.
I feel you. All right. Well, let's rate this little sack of shit. Oubliette, what do you got?
Honestly, I feel like I should relinquish my voting capabilities because, truth be told, I suggested this movie and I watched it twice the year it came out, which was like 12 years ago, and then didn't have internet for a few days before we did this again.
What are you,
So
a poor?
I do.
Ugh.
A poor.
No, my internet didn't go out because I didn't pay my fucking bills. Like, I'm poor. I live in the Catskills and there's snow and
Ugh.
storms.
You're a poor.
So yeah, I'm not a yeah. I'm not
Oh,
a
I mean,
poor.
you know, I feel
Honestly, I mean, I could have used my phone as a hotspot, but I didn't think it would be strong enough. So
Yeah.
fuck off.
I feel
No.
like you'd probably be on the same page with us.
I think probably like a 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. That's
a bit,
what
it's a
I
okay.
remember
I have a
liking
condition.
it,
It's a conditional
and I
2.
thought it was interesting.
It's a 2 around Christmas time. It's a 1 any other time.
I mean,
it's cool around. The thing that does redeem it is it's fucking short. You know, they didn't try to overdo anything. In fact, they probably underdid shit. Is probably the problem.
Mhm.
So that's why 2 is a pretty good rating because, you know, like if they dragged it out, it would have got a lower rating.
Yeah. I mean,
you get through it real quick. So
dude, we're all in agreement. Like it's a 2. Like it's entertaining and it's fun as long as you don't really like focus too much on anything.
yeah,
Just go along for the ride and you're like, oh yeah, it's amusing. And I'm sure there's some people out there because I've mentioned this to some people and like, dude, that fucking movie rules. And I'm like, really?
Oh yeah, people love it.
Like,
yeah. It won a whole bunch of like
And I do remember really liking
awards
it.
and stuff. I mean, I didn't hate it. There's so
I
much
should have
like
watched it again.
there is a lot of really fun stuff, but like it is a big bummer because like you can see that there is talent behind what
Mhm.
they're doing, but like they just tried to, I don't know, they didn't have a unified idea of what this movie was going to be, and it like you really see it when you watch the short that. So they did self-funded a short, and then I think they self-funded a second short because the first one was really popular. But off of those two, like the popularity of those, and they're straight comedy. They got funny to do a full movie, and they're like, well, we got to still do comedy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it felt like some parts of the movie were like an actual film production, like release, fucking theatrical release type movie. And then some parts were like some goofy sci-fi channel or like Netflix shitty movie release. It just felt a little disjointed.
Yeah.
So, but that makes sense, with the short and
if you're
everything.
going to watch this movie, do yourself a favor and watch the little 8-minute short Rare Exports Inc. on YouTube first, because it'll make the movie make so much more sense, and like the odd choices that they make in the second half. Because the first half is pretty fucking solid.
Yeah.
Even with its weird little campy shit and kind of obvious foreshadowing, it's still pretty solid. And I was actually like pretty into it. And then when it started getting to where I was like, ugh, I don't know about this. How long is this movie? I looked, I'm like, oh, it's like almost over. Like, okay, well, I'll definitely sit through this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
good.
It's a unanimous two Christmassy gingerbready candy corns. I don't know. Yeah, I think people should go see it. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love it, and I think a lot of people will like
also
it.
Like, if you're an idiot like me who likes to around holidays just run up all the dumbass holiday movies to get in the spirit when you have free time, it's nice not to just watch the same old, and it's definitely a fresh take,
right?
And it's fun. And I mean, I like supporting foreign films that do things well, and there's a lot that is done well in the first half.
Agreed.
So check it out.
All right. Well,
or not.
With that being said, I guess, Merry fucking Christmas to all you little jagoffs out there.
Merry Christmas.
And thanks for tuning in to this episode of Monster Candy Podcast.
Happy fucking
Hello, Mr. Fancy.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch. Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Want some candy?
Looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.